Good to go.
All right. We'll call the March 11th Highway Committee meeting to order at 8:27. Roll call. Everyone here except for Jerry Hartung. Approval of minutes for the February 11th. Need a motion.
Make a motion to approve the February minutes.
Motion made second. Any additions, corrections? If not, all in favor?
All right.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Public comment, anything? No,
No public comment.
nothing. On to the staff report.
Turn this over to Brent.
Well, it looks like spring for a little while. No, road bands went on last Thursday. We finished up, I'd say 90% of our brushing last week on the state. Pretty much got everything done we wanted there. All our bridges are brushed for the most part. We do have a little bit to do left on that. But all the bigger stuff is done. Our county projects that we have coming up this summer, we have a little bit to do on E. We're not going to take much. There's a few that we'd like to take closer to 40 that are out that way. Not a lot of trees, just some that are leaning out that we'd like to take. So most of that is done. We got all our chips hauled. That's all here, unless, we pick up some towns and stuff like that. And left all the people are in. But that was nice. We got that all done the day before road bands went on, so it was perfect timing. We've been out, patching some holes. Our spray patch trucks are in the shop. I'm sure Dan will talk about that. I can't wait to get out and start doing that. And I'm sure as soon as the road bands are off and we can get out and start doing construction, we will. Frost is still fairly deep. We are getting some thaw. We've got about a foot thaw kind of down south, and it was just shy of 2 foot up north. See what else we got. Oh, we've transitioned into the new time system that we have and training the guys on that. And I think for the most part, us over here at Highway are sitting pretty good on that. Things are, I know they probably have a lot more to deal with payroll. It's payroll week, but it's been a good transition for me anyway. And our guys, I think they're getting the hang of it. So other than that, we've got one spot open. We've been doing interviews this week, and we finish those tomorrow. Do you have any questions for me? As of right now, I think things are going pretty good. Looks like a busy weekend, maybe. I hope not. I hope it goes away, but I don't think it will.
Yeah.
But next week's going to warm up, and I think all that snow that's going to fall this weekend is going to be gone. So
He said it.
I think it shows high 50s next week on Thursday.
Oh, by Thursday.
So,
I think.
Monday, Tuesday, yeah, it looks like about a low of 6. But other than that, I think things are going well.
Mhm.
Gearing up for spring and construction, and we get going. We've got plenty to do.
Sounds good.
Dan, do you want to lead into the shop operation?
Sure. Well, we've just been doing normal repairs and preventive maintenance. We did have some emission problems with a few of our excavators, which we think we've got through now. We had to take them back to the dealer for a couple things with the DEF issues. Let that take care of. And like Brenna said, we brought the road patchers out of winter storage. We got the guys going through them right now, checking them over and getting ready to go. As far as the new triaxles, we're still working on those. We did take the boxes down to Universal and they're painted so we can Get on and get those and bring them back and put them on. We still have a delay in getting the front plow and wing, so we're gonna end up probably building the trucks just as a trying, so plows on later with the fall, so we can use the trucks. Finishing up together the Wisconsin surplus auction I've been trying to do for a while. So I should get it in probably today, and we should see it online, I think sometime later in the month. That's selling those 2 pickup trucks and a couple of Craftful grinders that we had, along with some miscellaneous stock parts. So not a lot of stuff. Looked at the gas situation. In February 2025, we used 1,600 gallons of gas and 14,800 diesel. This month here in February, we used 1,900 gas, but we only used 11,580 of diesel. So that was down quite a bit. A lot of that was used in our quad axles hauling chips. I looked at those and it was almost 5,000 gallons we went through the quad axles in the month of February. So the use on our far as snow removal and stuff like that has been really down as far as the fuel goes in February. We are putting specs together for the new hot mix double drum roller, trying to get that kind of sewed up so we can try and get them out and get some quotes back. And I think Dustin's going to probably talk to you later about that. We did check that 55 grader out a little more thorough, and here's the transmission. So that's bad. I did get a quote from McCoy, John Deere over in Chippewa, and the reman transmission is 30-some thousand. And then they also want to put a new oil cooler in it because they're afraid that the debris might get in the oil cooler if you put the new transmission in. It could, get in the transmission. With labor and everything, they're talking 49,000. So I think book value on that grader is about 60 right now. What we have on the books for it, and it's got 7,500 hours on it. So it's a hard decision because that's a lot of hours, and we could be looking at maybe an engine too. But it also is a good grader. Sadly, that's the one that we put our new brake control on last fall. Picked the wrong one because the other one is still running 56. And I finally did get a quote back from Trimble. And it's 5,500 to swap the brake control off from the one grader and put it on the other. And so we'll have to make some decisions on that, what you guys want to do or what we should do. We could try to repair it here in the shop. The only problem is we don't get a warranty with them either, so if something does happen, you're out that money.
So when you say repair, do you mean replace the transmission or just try and rebuild it?
Just try and repair what's wrong. Fifth and sixth gear right now are stuck, and it's probably the plates in the shifting part of it that are stuck. So if you try to shift it in any other gear other than fifth and sixth, it's locked down and killed.
Sure.
So I thought maybe it was, electric over hydraulic that was actually forcing it together, but that's not the case. It'll have to come out of there and maybe we could just replace that clutch pack, whenever maybe everything is all right. We don't know until we remove the transmission and take a look at it. That would be our lowest cost, involved in it.
So if we would trade that grader off, what is the value of that grader right now with the transmission? Very little?
Very little. It's probably the grader would be the tires, and the engine. There's a lot of valuable parts on it, but you won't get that out of it if you're going to trade it or sell it. I don't know. I didn't ask for any type of numbers on it, what they might give us for it. Not very much.
So
It's not.
how many hours we put on a year on a grader?
Not a lot. I look back on this one here and it's less than 500
Okay.
in a year. You know, in the last couple of winters, we really haven't used them much for winging anything back because we haven't had a lot of snow. So then about the only use they get then is for road construction.
Okay.
So is that like the last one you take out though, if you're doing winter stuff, right? With the grade control on it or?
No, not really, because it doesn't really affect much of it other than, you know, maybe getting some salt on some of the sensors.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering.
But,
We were gonna use it a lot more
yeah,
with that grade control on now, but now we,
yeah.
so once we got it on, we didn't have it out there very long and it
No, it
didn't
did,
happen.
I did one job or 1.5 jobs and then that was it. Yeah.
Apparently that's the one guys like, if that's what you chose to put the grade control on.
Well, we wanted to have two graders with the grade control on, so we had a backup.
Mhm.
We've got a grade control on our Caterpillar grader number 52, and that's getting old too, you know, along with the grade control is old. You know, and if you're in the middle of a project and that quits, you know, then you're stopped. You know, because you need that for the final grade, you know, to make sure everything's right. So I think the grade control was about 25,000 if I remember right, you know, but it's all transferable to and that this other John Deere because they're identical graders, you know, they're like sister graders. So it'd just be a matter of changing some of the hydraulics. There's special hydraulics on it to run them on its own, to run the blade. You know, and then the sensors that are on it. So yeah,
So if I'm saying stuff right, it's 60,000 if it's working, it's worth, right?
that's what's on the
And then
books right now.
roughly, and so probably worth 10 to 15.
I guess that's what I would say, pretty much. You know, and the tires are worth that. You know,
Yeah,
I think what you're saying, 60,000 is what our financial system considers it to be worth.
right,
That's
right.
its
That's
depreciated value. It has nothing to do with reality.
so right now the depreciated value is about 15,000. If we were to stick that 50,000 into it, then that value would be up to that 65 to 70,000.
Okay.
I did look at it, what those type of, with that same identical grader is selling for, and it's right around that 80,000. So, like I said, right now it's valued at 15,000. If we were literally to sell it, we would have to get 15,000 for a salvage value on it. So like I said, if we would stick 45, what was it, 49,000 into it,
49, yeah.
we'd be looking at,
Complete job.
And what's the engine situation? I mean, does it burn any oil? Does it
Not that I'm aware
run
of.
great?
I could look back in the, you know, in the records and see, but not that I'm aware of.
Yes, there's
Nothing
no emissions or
excessive.
anything on it?
Not that I'm aware of, but that, you know, it's hard to say. I mean, it could run a long time yet, or it might break down tomorrow. You know, the oil samples come back good.
Okay.
So that's a plus. And we do sample it all the time. And we do all our trucks pretty much do except pickups. You know, so we kind of watch it. You know, I said 60, I just kind of thought that's what, in my head, that's what it was worth. But Dustin, you know,
Sure.
they looked up and some of them are 80. I think we paid 100 for them, didn't we, Dustin? Right in
I
there?
don't recall what it was.
Anyway,
It was somewhere around there.
Yeah.
And the unfortunate thing is, this isn't our oldest grader. I mean, we have
No.
one other one I know of, that's
Number
two of them that are actually older.
53 and 52.
Mm-hmm. Two categories.
And
Yeah.
obviously, I've looked at it as there's a possibility where we need 5 graders.
Mhm.
And that's definitely an option we're gonna have to explore. Obviously, to buy a new one, you're looking at $400,000.
What's one of the older ones that you would consider getting rid of? What is that roughly worth?
I think probably 53, yes.
I mean, if it's running, I'm assuming you could probably get 20 grand maybe,
That's what I'm thinking.
if it's running.
It is running.
Yeah,
Um,
but the one that obviously the transmission, we'd probably get very, very little for it.
Mm.
If we
Well, the
were
reason I
selling
was
it.
wondering if you were thinking about getting rid of one, do we take that money, put it towards fixing one? That's already got the grade control on it, is what I was.
Instead of trying to transfer the brake control.
Right.
Which
Yeah.
I was thinking the same thing, is if there's one that you go into surplus and you can get half of that money back at least. You can be able to upgrade or fix this one. I guess my question would be, and again, there's no guarantee I get it. It's a mechanical piece of equipment. It could go south the next day as soon as you got it running, but what's the life expectancy then? What, of this grader, if we got it fixed, if we put a new transmission or rebuilt reman transmission in it.
Yeah, the grader itself is pretty tight. I mean, it's not a
I mean, is it a,
real old loose machine. That's not the case.
Yeah.
And that was the one the guys like, and that's why we put the grade control on that one, is because they like it. So, it's the older grader with the levers instead of electronic stuff, so it generally works.
I guess my question is this, that nothing else major would happen to it, like an engine or something like that? Can you get 5 years out of it? Is it a 5-year, 10-year?
Well, so we
Just off,
so we have 5 graders currently. And in the 5-year plan, we had proposed
Right.
replacing one in
Yeah.
the next 5 years.
Yep.
So these graders, like I said, if we keep all 5 of them, are gonna be here for the next 10 years.
Right,
I mean,
right.
we just can't financially afford to
I just-
replace a lot of that equipment.
I remember we looked through that. I just couldn't remember the specific dates and.
So 10,000 hours isn't terrible on it.
In my mind, that's quite a few for a John Deere engine. But we wouldn't get 10,000 hours on that machine the way it's going right now. I mean, we got 7,600 on there, so you're talking another 2,500 hours. That's 5 years.
Yeah, that's what
That's what we're
that's what
trying
I
to
wanted.
figure out.
So then we'd have at least 5 years of use
Right, that's what.
before the motor gets to that point.
Mhm.
And it should last to that, and actually it should last long. But I think you could probably be pretty comfortable, getting up to that power range.
That's what I was curious. I mean, 10,000 hours is a lot of hours. I just didn't know.
It is a
A
lot
lot
of
of grader, all that,
Mhm.
you know,
Mhm.
I don't know what they rev them at and all that stuff. So just,
Mhm.
if you thought it should make it to 10,000, that makes the decision a little bit easier, I guess.
But it's, and anything can happen.
Oh, yeah.
That's the
Nothing's
problem.
guaranteed.
Nothing guaranteed. And that's one thing, you
But
take that much money and then a year from now, the motor goes out,
And that's worthless again.
yes. But a motor is something we can rebuild
Okay.
here. We could put sleeves in it, pistons and bearings,
Right.
so we wouldn't be paying the big money.
If you get the transmission done properly, what kind of warranty is it?
I think
Is
it's
it an hour limit or?
I'd have to go back and look
days?
at it, but I think it was 2 years
Yeah.
and then so many hours.
I mean, in my head, 2 years popped into my head. I was thinking that's probably something that would be realistic, which,
So is that something they can take out? Look at it and say, hey, open it up and say, hey, it's just the clutch packs. I think we can put them in. It's fine.
I don't know if they do that over in Florida. I think mainly they probably just put remanufactured ones in just because they don't want to stand by them.
then they take that one and rebuild it for the next reman one.
That's what they do.
Yeah.
They take that one
Well, I get it's easier for them. I was just hoping that it was,
I never,
everything else looks good. Just throw them in there.
yeah, I guess I never asked them, about the repair part of it. They didn't really mention it either, I mean, their fix was to put a reman.
Well, unfortunately, that's kind of the way the world's going.
Throwaway. Everything's got a, nobody fixes much anymore. They will either put a new part on it or a remanufactured part on it.
It'd be nice to look at it and say, hey, everything else looks good. Or if it's like, well, everything else is, we're obviously we need to put a reman in it, but it'd be
Yes,
nice to know that.
and we can buy a reman ourselves, but then you're still talking 30,000 for the transmission.
Yeah.
And then the oil cooler is about 5,000. So you still have 35,000 in it and
Plus labor.
plus labor, so. And that's what they were gonna charge was 15,000 labor to.
And that's gonna say labor's gonna be
Probably
probably.
no,
We would have no warranty.
And then we would have no warranty is a problem if we do it. Yeah.
Well, I think if you're gonna replace it, they would to do it. I just meant if there was somebody that would look at it and say, hey,
Mhm.
this part failed, the rest of it looks good, let's do that, and we get by for $10,000 or something, well then
Yeah, you know,
That's
it's,
different.
the only way we could get by with less money would be to take it apart ourselves and try to fix it ourselves. You know, checking over the best we can and replace the parts.
Sure.
That are bad, you know, but then you might find out that the whole thing is bad and you have to rebuild it anyway.
Transmissions are,
There is companies on there that do, you know, rebuild them for you. But then again, I think the warranty then is like down to 1 year, you know, and then you have to fight with them probably, and, you know, maybe say you did something else wrong. And you're not gonna save a whole lot of money,
right.
you know, probably 15.
It's the labor that you get involved with these things that
You know, it's
shop hours are expensive.
very expensive now, the shop hours are. Well, they were anyway, but
Yeah, right.
they've really,
That's what I mean, but
yeah, you know. And I know it sounds like a lot of money, but you look at a pickup truck and
Right,
that's more than that.
exactly.
So if you compare it to that, but then like Dustin says, do we need 5 graders? I don't think we do.
it would be more in line to fix this one and maybe get rid of one. You know, if you think we.
That's where my mind was. And the reason I asked about, you know, where the warranty was, what kind of life do you think's left in it? If you can get 5 years, you take the $1,000, let's just call it, to put a reman in there. That's $10,000 a year you have invest, basically, if you can get, you know what I mean? If you look at it that way, I don't, you know, well, that's how I look at it. It's worth it.
I just, you almost have to have two of those, don't you, for road?
It's best to have two because if
I mean,
one thing's bad,
if one goes bad, the whole thing is shut down. And we can't really
And
afford
that's
that.
the issue we have.
Right.
I mean, we have a grader that has the telematics on it, the GPS, and I mean, it was always acting up. I mean, it was, what is that, 15+ years old?
yeah, I never looked it up, but yeah, it's getting pretty old.
I mean, it's, that type of stuff doesn't last forever. Usually the machine will last longer than those grade controls.
Yeah, you know, yeah, and you don't know if something else could happen. I mean, you could blow a hose or a cylinder or anything, you know, and if you have one right there where you can, you know, back it right up with, then the job keeps moving. And it's nice to have a couple guys that are even acclimated into using them, and that was kind of one of our other things too, you know, to start training another operator in how to, you know, using this, because right now we just pretty much have one person that does it. And if you got two of them, then you can get the other one out and have other guys, you know, learning how to run it.
Right.
And we were fortunate and had one guy out on one of our town jobs right at the end before it did have problems, and it seemed to work real well. So that's a plus too, you know, there are a couple pluses behind it.
So we don't have to vote on this, so, I mean, it's just up to you guys, but I mean, I think our recommendation is pretty unanimous on that, so.
Yeah, and obviously we're selling a piece of equipment that's got it coming back to you guys for approval. So
Yeah.
Purchase or disposing of, it's all coming back to you guys.
We just wanted to be upfront and
Yep.
aware of it, so you don't see some great big bill, and really just want your opinion on it. I mean, that's a big.
Yeah.
And then the only other thing I've got is that Justin and I have been working together on putting together specifications. We had in our 5-year plan to replace one of our older asphalt rollers. I think it's 23 years old. One of them's 23 and one of them's 20. So we've been working on that, trying to put that together and hopefully get it and then get it sent out here so we can get some numbers back to see what you want to do. Because that'll be here before you know it. And it's hard to get stuff anymore. It takes so long to get it. Yeah, other than that, everything else is going pretty good, so. Yeah.
No, I'll just add to it. So obviously we are continuing to demo our GPS units and telematics and those, you know, we have 5 plow trucks with one vendor, and we have one that's going to be with a different vendor to take a look at it. So I just wanted to kind of just show you what information can all be. So the current 5 plow trucks have forward-facing cameras in it, which is really neat. I mean, you can actually do live feeds. You can actually Dan and I or whoever can log right into the camera to see road conditions. We can see all kinds of stuff. So that was actually a picture of one of the plow trucks that went out that morning and tells you everything. Tells you how fast the machine's going. It tells you if they're braking too hard, if they're speeding. It'll tell you everything. As you can see, it tells you the route that it took when it plowed. What's really neat about it is obviously if we get a phone call that says, hey, Dunn County truck broke my windshield. Well, we can prove that that truck was never there. There's other nice things. I guess it can hurt and help you in situation if you get in an accident. Obviously, having that forward-facing camera. But at the end of the day, if we get in an accident, we have to be accountable. So regardless if we're at fault or whatever. But it's a pretty neat system. We are looking at it. We do have, it's called Precise in our state trucks currently. But we have the option, the state opened it up that we have the option to explore other telematics. So we are exploring these other options. The DOT does reimburse us for this to be put on our trucks every year. So we are going to be looking at next week, kind of just talking about pricing. This is not a guarantee, obviously. This is just a demo. If we don't like it, if we want to return it, put it in a box and send it back to them. So like I said, it's a great tool. Not saying it's perfect by any means, but it just gives you a lot of information that we feel could be beneficial.
So you have to update it every year?
No.
I thought you said you had to be, after a year's time, you can get out or stay in it?
This would be, you would sign up for like a yearly contract.
Oh, okay.
Yes. I think you can actually pay month by month, but it's cheaper if you do a full year contract. So.
Yeah.
Is this the one that actually sends info back, like on? You were talking about one that would like.
This will send, if it has a trouble code or check engine light.
Sure. Okay.
This will send a code back to you, so you can look at it and, make a decision whether it's something they need to bring in right away or if they can finish out the day.
So it alerts you. It alerts you if an engine light comes on in that truck.
Yes.
It's supposed to, yeah.
Okay.
Currently, it's coming to me as a demo. It comes to my email that some code came up.
Mhm.
Doesn't tell me what it is, but
Well, that's good.
Yeah,
The good thing
that's
about it.
real nice, and like Dustin said too, I mean, that's a picture right there of one of our trucks. I mean, that's what it shows.
Yep.
And it's going 35 mile an hour and the speed limit. It also tells us the sander stuff, how much sand they're putting down, salt they're putting down.
tells you how
Live
the
feed,
pounds per lane mile. It tells you exactly
yeah,
every information of that truck.
yeah. And again, you can look at the road conditions too with the camera on there.
And the state reimburses you for the ones that are on the state.
Yes.
Correct. That's part of that winter readiness.
Yep.
We get,
So you would be doing this in place of whatever you had on there, you're saying? Okay.
yes, instead of the.
Possibility.
Yeah.
Like I said, that's not
Yeah.
set in stone. But
Yeah.
But I'm saying it's not in addition to, it's a replacement of what you have. Okay.
correct.
Yeah.
So is that, money well spent or not? I mean, in your opinion?
I think so. The camera situation, that's something new to a lot of counties and a lot of private companies. Obviously, is it needed? I think it's a neat thing. I don't know if it's necessary by all means.
I think in today's world, it's needed. Everything else, getting pictures taken of it.
Yeah.
In our society now.
Who's to say, I mean, there's not an accident up ahead that you're not involved, but this would be something that would show, okay, that semi was going too fast or that car cut that one off or whatever. Vehicles flying by this truck. And the cops had there was ever something, it's like, oh yeah, we saw it on here.
So if I can bring that up. So one of the things about video is it's expensive. We are required to, for like the cameras that we have around our buildings, we have to store that data for 120 days by law. So I don't know what the retention time for this is. And if any happen, we have to save that forever. So there's a component of being able to track that and to do that, as the body worn cameras have impacted the DA's office and the sheriff's office to the tune of probably close to $500,000 to $1 million in additional costs to be able to not just, I mean, the camera's cheap. It's the storing of that data forever. And in the sheriff's office, you look at a DUI that happens. They have to save that for 7 years. Every camera footage for every officer that is a part of that. Right? So every one of those cars that comes in, all of that gets stored in the sheriff's office. And then the DA's office, we actually store 2 copies of it to be able to do that. So I'm not saying that this is going to get there, but just understand that I think it's important that we really truly understand that there's a value associated with that, because there's definitely a cost.
So on this, I hear what you're saying, yeah, and I didn't totally think about that, so that's good. But in a situation like that, that's only if there's a situation, all right? I mean,
So you have to save it for 120.
Yep.
And 120 is because if there's a situation where there's 120 days statute of limitations for
Yep.
suing the county. That's where 120 comes from.
Sure.
So that's where you got to get rid of it. But if somebody does say that, then we have to export that and hold on to that for probably like 7 years or whatever. So yeah, it's only if there's situations that have been identified.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm not sure either what the company that if we did go with this company, how long they save it automatically themselves, I don't know what they're.
It's usually 90 days. So
We
Yeah,
haven't-
there was a retention period, but I doubt it was 120.
But there's a lot of pluses to it too. I mean, if you had an accident and somebody tries to sue us for a couple $1 million and this proves that it didn't,
then that value
That
is there
value
immediately.
immediately,
Well,
so
that's
you gotta look at it both, both ways. And
Yeah.
so it's tough. It's an unknown number,
Certainly.
well, is this something, well, that you can check in and see if they can save it for 120 days and then also do it on.
They'll do it, but at a cost.
Yeah.
What Dan's trying to say.
Well, absolutely, but I mean, what that cost is, and
Yeah.
can we do it on 10 of the trucks or whatever for a year and just be like, yep, we really like it on the state. And then if we want to put it on the other ones, we can, but
Yeah, that's what basically, obviously, it was not budgeted to do anything outside of the state. Obviously, the state
Sure.
reimburses for it, so this would be something that if we would explore it, it would only be implemented on those 10 log trucks.
And the state covers most of it.
I think also, and we do have some of that telematics data as it relates to the state roads, but I think there's some reports that can get pulled off that can be shared publicly to let the public know that, there is 540 centerline miles that get covered in 24 hours to be able to cover those, as you hear the complaints about the plow going, to be able to show what's actually times.
Yeah, Dustin and I looked at it, and there's over 1,300 lane miles with the county trucks. So they make one lap. It's closer to drive to New York City than it is for one lap. New York City is only 1,100 miles. So if we made 2 laps, which we normally do, that's driving to New York City and back and change is fair. When you think about it that way, that's, miles. It's a lot of work for the guys, and the people don't understand that. They should be educated on it really and know that, that's really what happens.
Right.
And
And put it in perspective like that.
Mhm.
It makes a difference.
I pulled it up at one point, and you could take the kind of the map that's over on the right there with all of it was just the state trucks at the time that we had that. And you could do it at like 4 times the speed. And so you could just see all the trucks leave and go out and then go all around. And it was pretty, I think, interesting to watch that path. Now, part of that is it shows you the route that they take, and people say, how come you took that route, not this route? But
Right. And there's 10 state trucks and there's 20 some, almost 30 county trucks. So it's over double the amount of county trucks. So we have a lot of county roads. Yeah,
So-
and it's kind of sad that we've had them in now for a month and we haven't had any snow. So the trucks have been sitting here in the shop, you know, so that's,
There's been one snow event that I could actually get recordings from.
Hey, if we got,
Otherwise,
get
they've
no
been
snow, I'm
sitting
happy.
pretty much.
right, and you can see that. in
Put it
the
on
view.
some more trucks.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Yeah, we could put it on a lot of trucks for that, yeah.
we don't get
Just
snow,
because
I'm
of-
happy.
Snow, but, yeah, and then Dustin too, and, we're just about finished with the shop lights. We're putting new LED bulbs in the shop and boy, what a difference. You know, it was so dark,
Yeah.
dark in there and we're not quite done, but we still got the parts room to go on a little bit on this end of the shop, but it's really made a big difference for the guys to be able to see. So,
All right.
yeah, so other than that, I guess I don't, Dustin, if you got anything else? Any questions?
Good.
All right, well, I'll get back to work.
Thank you, Dan.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You guys have a good day.
You too.
Yeah, and I added a little piece of office operations. Obviously, we're all aware the new ERP timekeeping system was implemented. So obviously we're making that transition. So staff are working diligently with other staff members and trying to get everything in working order. So a lot of time and effort into it, but in the end, it's going to be a positive thing. Just wanted to mention too, so I did get a email yesterday, and this information will be presented to you. It's regarding a assembly bill, an amendment to assembly bill that has been presented, that basically would require government employees to get a license to operate equipment, as well as having certain hours to be able to get this license. So this would definitely affect some of our operations, obviously. It would almost probably put a screeching halt to county doing construction work on our own roadways. So obviously, like I said, I'll bring this to your attention at their next meeting. Obviously, I'll provide all the information. I'll do a follow-up at our April meeting. I'm just kind of give you a heads up on what the status is with it. So more information to come on that.
Right.
So engineering project updates, the P17, the B17 936 County Road Q Wilson Creek Bridge. That's the one north of Knapp. That project is currently scheduled for mid-May starting replacement. There's a 50-day working contract, so Larson Contractors was awarded that project. We will be shutting the road down. The contractor is responsible for shutting the roadway down, and then we would be signing the detour. We're going to be utilizing County Road O and State Highway 170 that parallels County Road Q. There is a quicker way, obviously, with town roads, but we can't obviously sign that. So the P17 915 County Road P Irving Creek Bridge. And just going back to that B17, that's 100% funded. So we are not on the hook for any cost except for there's a $500 fee that basically like haul routes and stuff like that. We have to kind of like pay for that. The P17 915 County Road P Irving Creek Bridge, that's west of town here. So we did submit a change management request for additional funding. As I noted before, the bid letting came in over the allocated funds. So we are here waiting to hear information if the change management request was approved or not. Hopefully in the next couple of weeks, we'll know more. The project is still slated to take place. They're looking at mid-July with a 40-day working contract. So sheet piling services was awarded the project. The road will be closed and we will not be signing a detour. It's a very low volume roadway, so we expect it to not have a lot of impacts on that.
So on these bridges, you got a date on them, like, 40-day start time and that. If they go past that, are they liable for it then or not?
Yes, there can be penalties, but there is obviously weather days
Yeah.
added into that.
Okay.
I have never had a contractor go past the deadline.
Okay.
So they're pretty simple bridge structures for replacing. These are, the one up there is the B 17-936, as you can see the condition of the bridge. And then the one on P is that double cell box culvert, which will be basically replaced in kind. So
Trying to picture where the one is on P. I'm struggling.
it's between two little S curves, east of 90th. Where you go up the hill.
Yep.
Approximately, I would say it's about 2 miles west of K. Mile and a half, maybe.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, you're probably 6-8 miles west of town.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah,
I mean, it's,
I know what P is.
Yeah, so after you go past K,
Yeah,
you know, from K this way, it's busier, but when you said it's very low travel, I'm like, well, it's gotta be over that. But yeah, I know what you're saying.
yeah, once you get past K, there's very low volume on that road.
Yeah.
I mean, if there's 150 cars a day, we'd be lucky. So,
And plenty of ways to get around.
yep, the locals usually take that road, so they'll find ways. Request for proposals. So we did send out sealed bid requests for all of our asphalt materials, seal coat oil, culvert materials, pulverized milling operations, and pavement markings. We're looking at a bid due date of March 26th. I wish we would have put this out there earlier, just with the price of oil. Obviously it went up, but it sounds like it's coming back down. So hopefully we will still see some good numbers. From what other counties are telling us, there was a reduction in some counties and there was kind of stable for other counties. So that information will be obviously presented to you at the April meeting. We also did request sealed bids for base materials for 2 of our projects, County Road I up in Sand Creek and then County Road C down in O'Galley. We have approximately 20,000 tons of material sitting in our own quarry. But obviously there's advantages to be able to get it from a closer source. Not having to drive all the way through Menominee to get up to Sand Creek because our pit's out in town of Lucas. So it's not the most economical means. And we would also we would have basically enough material for those 2 projects, but we also have County Road and Colfax that we'll be looking at utilizing our own materials. So we will need to look at outsourcing some of that material. And then obviously all the notices were submitted in the Colfax Messenger. So if you guys get that, you can see all the advertisements that were in there. So. Just to give you an update on the Potter Cemetery historical signs. So I submitted an application to the State Historical Society. The Friends of Potter Cemetery basically did the whole application. They submitted the fee that goes along with it. I felt it was going to be obviously a lot easier for the county to apply for this historical sign because it's going to be placed on Dunn County property. For the Friends of Potter Cemetery to apply for it, we would have to give them easements. It would just be a lot more cumbersome to do it. So this sign would obviously, if approved, be right at the entrance going into Potter Cemetery. There is obviously a cost to this particular sign. I believe it was just over $3,000, if I'm not mistaken, is what the sign would be. Built or constructed with at a cost. And then Friends of Potter Cemetery are looking at paying for that cost if it is approved. So this is the information that would be on that sign. So it's obviously not just necessarily the Potter Cemetery, it's the Dunn County Poor Farm, the asylum. It'll give you basically the kind of the background history of individuals that were placed at the Potter Cemetery. So that is what the Friends of Potter Cemetery came up with, that they would like to see written on the sign. It's all based on, you can only have so many letters, based on sizes. And all the signs have to go through a certain manufacturer with the Historical Society. So
So who takes care of that cemetery? Is that the county or?
the Friends of Powder Cemetery. So it's all a group of individuals that do it out of the kindness of their heart.
Oh, okay.
So they maintain it, they mow it, they do all the upkeep of it. They have to plow it in the winter time. I don't typically see it being utilized in the winter a whole lot. Gates obviously closed, but
Do they still put people in there or not?
no, there was a request recently, but the last time somebody was placed in there was 1952, I believe it was.
1952.
So to kind of open that back up, I think there'd be a lot of hoops to jump through. So
Yeah. 'Cause I know on a township, anytime that a church stops taking care of the cemetery, then it automatically goes on the township
Mhm.
to do the maintenance on it.
Yep.
You know, so I just wonder, is this land part of the Dunn County then?
yes.
Oh, it is, okay.
Yeah, so it's all on Dunn County Highway property. It is parcel pieced out just for the cemetery, and then obviously it's got fence all the way around it. But obviously there's a fence that people going into the cemetery can't get into the highway department, lands, indoor building or whatever. So like it used to be.
Yeah, that's what we fenced it several years ago.
And then obviously, if this is approved, they'd be looking at like having just a little bit of a parking area. And I know we talked about this, I believe it was almost a year ago.
Mhm.
Obviously at that time it was kind of, the county would basically put that in for the cemetery purposes. Just like a 2 or 3 stall little parking area by the side. So yeah, like I said, I think it's a great thing. Maybe gives a little bit more recognition to the cemetery. That is our financials. I did not provide, obviously, a financial report to our new system because it doesn't exist that I'm aware of. Well, Dan's gonna have to show us how to do it.
Yeah.
There's not any numbers in it.
There we go.
For highway, but I mean, it just looks really bad, and it's only your payroll.
So what I did here is obviously just presented to you the chems report, obviously tells you with our maintenance and construction activities. So as you can see, we've spent about $863,000 through the mid or late February here. Obviously, most of it is county winter maintenance and brushing, which are the 2 activities we do at this time of the year. We will have to obviously monitor that winter maintenance because that's quite a bit of money spent so far just in January and February. So almost $1.3 million budget. So we got to get through obviously the end of this year. Don't know what October, November, and December are going to be of 2026. So
That's the part people forget about
yes,
because we're so seasonal thinking, it's like, oh, the winter's
done.
Winter's done. Yeah. Oh, wait a second.
Yep.
It's a calendar year.
Yep.
Yeah.
Any questions with that? And I'm hopeful, obviously, once we get the new financial system budget, financial reports put together, obviously we can present that at that time, but I don't know when that's going to be. May, April.
So we will, I think you'll have some pretty good data in April and May. But we won't have, we'll be getting the January data in there. It's kind of the beginning balances that we won't have until August when the auditors complete the audit. And that's what's going to put the 2025 balances in there to kind of to work with us. But we should have all of the 2026 revenues and expenses in there. I think the hope would be that we would have that by April. It's where Joy is right now. Kind of going through that.
So the vegetation maintenance, that's the
That's
brushing.
basically brushing and
Brushing.
mowing operation.
You know, this is just county.
Yes.
It's more work done for
Like
state,
state,
local.
state, yeah, right.
Correct. Questions? If not,
Sounds good. Anything else? Nothing? Thanks. 7, consideration actions taken by the committee, highway vouchers.
like every month, there's all kinds of vouchers. Can't stop buying. Tell staff to only purchase what we need. Apparently that's on 3 pages every month. Obviously, a lot of the big ticket stuff is our chip seal aggregates that you see in there. So, otherwise, a lot of it is just parts. Salt. Salt and parts and.
Is that the salt for the brine there?
No,
No, this is salt from,
yeah, so this is a county salt, so
Okay.
we have a early fill, a seasonal fill that we are required to take, so this was the seasonal fill. Probably will look at the possibility of purchasing our reserve, only because the salt keeps going up every year. So if we purchase whatever 200 tons of our reserve, at 105, I think it is right now per ton. We'll probably be better off doing that than paying $110, starting here in July, probably, if I had to guess.
How well does that keep over somewhere? I mean, I'm guessing it gets a little crust on it.
It does. It
I
does.
mean, just a little bit, then it's fine.
Yeah. I mean, now is probably one of the worst times to get salt, just because, there's snow and rain, and everything on it. Whatever is not covered as well at the depots when it's coming up barges, so.
need a motion for vouchers.
Make a motion to accept the vouchers.
Second.
Motion's been made to accept the vouchers as is. Any questions? Anything else? If not, all in favor?
All right.
Any opposed? Motion passes. 7B. 2027, 2031 Highway Capital Improvement Plan.
Yeah, so, obviously this information will get presented to you at some point in time when it comes to full county board. But I wanted to obviously, reintroduce, the big ticket item that obviously we discussed last year. Regarding the building addition, for storage capacity, as well as a, wash bay. So I had the consultant prepare an updated cost estimate. And what I'm trying to do is trying to lessen the cost as much as possible. I know we went to, last year, we kind of presented that we would have 2 options. A steel building or concrete precast building. And we went with there was 3 size options. I can't recall what the original one was, smallest one. But then the second one was 54,000 square feet, and then the largest one was 72,000. When we brought it to the county board, we said the worst case scenario, concrete precast and 72,000 square foot. At that time, I believe it was right around that 11.6, I believe, for the total cost. What I'd be looking at, obviously, is to try to reduce that as much as possible. So we'd be looking at the smaller building, the 54,000 square foot building, and a steel option instead of the concrete precast. Steel option still has a 75-year lifespan, basically, which will probably outlive the current building we're sitting in right now, which is already 40 plus years old. So, as you can see, there were some things that we tried to reduce. At one time, we were putting a lean-to on the entire building. That was approximately $1 million just to put a lean-to on. I had them reduce that to half the side of the building instead of a full length. I also did have them the wash bay to a fully automated system instead of having a hand wash capacity. I feel like that's the better option when I say fully automated, there's no moving parts. It's just piping that has nozzles and you drive through it and it sprays the truck, gets the undercarriage, it applies the soap. Well, Claire went to it, Polk County, Barron, St. Croix, everyone has it. We wash our own vehicles in the same system. Go to Quick Trips, all that. It's a fully automated system. These are a little less complicated, I would say. Like I said, it's pipings, not moving parts. So it did increase that slightly. I did want to present multiple options. So I had them look at that 54,000 steel building with an automated wash bay. The wash bay was a little bit bigger. It got 30 feet wide by 96 feet long. I believe when we presented it the last time, it was just over $1 million. I believe they're anticipating this to be about 1.4 going to the automated system.
Is there still a spot to hand wash as well?
Yes, that's my question. So basically, this would be, you could get 2 trucks in it at one time.
One automated and one hand washing.
Yes.
So my question is, because I can't remember, is the wash bay going to be a separate building
So,
or attached onto?
so there's multiple options here. So in your packet, if you look at page 1, page 1 is both buildings connected, done in the same year, would be that $8.7 million. That includes the design, the grading, excavating, the building erection, the everything to put that building. Then there's page 2, would be building the both buildings separate. Still built in the same year. That makes sense. As you can see, the project jumps up, 300,000?
Yeah.
If you put separate buildings. So that's that option.
Probably mostly due to plumbing and heating.
Well, a lot of more grading, excavating, stuff like that. And yes, got to run electrical, plumbing, everything to 2 different buildings. And then I also asked what the possibility would be to do a standalone wash bay. That's page 3, which is that $1.8 million to do a standalone wash bay. So obviously the best bang for your buck is to do all of one project, but obviously that's the most costly. I'm trying to figure out what page 4 was. Oh, that's to just build the building
building.
without the wash
Just
bay
the building.
Yeah.
Straight.
with 7.2. So what I proposed in the CIP request is that first page is to build that 54,000 square foot building, steel building, and the attached wash bay to that building completed in the same year. And that's where it comes out to that $8.7 million.
8.8.
Yes. And I know we did kind of discuss that, like maybe different alternate, means and methods, with building options. I know we kind of discussed a hoop style shed. And this building, what I propose in the CIP would be semi-heated. The entire building would be semi-heated. No cold storage in it. The whole building would basically house equipment. There's not the intent of putting in craft gold materials or any type of road maintenance materials and supplies. That would still be housed in the White House. I know there was discussions, obviously, with the sheriff's department needing more space. That is not included in it. If we were looking at trying to do something with that, building our current White House building and cold storage, there would be a divider wall put in. I have no idea. That's outside of this cost.
So would there be any other county facilities or vehicles that are brought in, like the sheriff's department or like some of the buses to use that wash bay, or is it strictly for the county? Okay, then I got that part.
I mean, the intent was just to house highway equipment. In the 54,000 square foot facility would have some room to grow in the future. Because obviously you don't want to build a facility that you're already outgrowing the day you build it.
I'm kind of looking at that, shed too, building on, it seemed like you go with a smaller option, size wise, but it seems like you can never build it too small. It's always going on.
Yes,
You need room for more equipment, more whatever.
I wholeheartedly agree. I mean, obviously we're stuck with a facility that we've outgrown,
Mhm.
and it was probably outgrown the day it was built. So, I guess what the intent would be if this would get built is what we have in this building for equipment, which is all plow trucks. I believe there's probably, I don't know, maybe close to 15 trucks in the back here. Not necessarily all plow trucks. Trailers, all that would all get housed out there. We would bring in more of our pickup trucks and stuff like that and house it here. And then maybe some sign stuff and all that could be under cover.
Is there any idea on this present building to move some of the scaffolding to hold it up, because they're getting kind of small to get, certain equipment in there unless you put them all in the new shed?
You're talking like plow equipment and stuff
Yeah,
like
that kind
that?
of stuff.
Yeah, there was discussion of it, but that's probably not in this cost.
Okay.
It's just, it adds more cost.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm trying to reduce it as best we can. I know this is obviously going to be a concern, of how it can be done financially. So like I said, I just trying to do it as best we can. We currently are living with it, with equipment parked outside. I'm not saying it's the best situation. We obviously store equipment down at the rec park, in the winter months. But we pull all that out in the summer months.
Could all that stuff be stored in there in the winter?
Yes.
That up.
The intent would be all of our equipment would be housed in this building, the addition, or our outlying shops. So,
Rock Creek.
there's not much equipment sitting down there, so that could all be housed here, yes.
Okay. That's what I want to know.
As long as there's a bridge crossing, H in Caryville.
That's true. Well, I like the plan, build it all at once. I think if you wait years to build the other one, your cost goes up 10%, your interest rates
Right.
is cheaper than the cost that's gonna go up, so. I would propose doing it all at once.
And I forgot to mention that hoop style shed, I
Oh, yeah.
talked about it. So I did get a price. They had a price of about a 25,000 square foot facility, and they cannot do warm storage. It's basically cold storage and that's it.
Hmm.
And that was approximately $1 million to just do a 25,000 square foot facility. Like I said, my intent is not have cold storage in here. This would be semi-heated storage.
Hmm.
So obviously we bring plow trucks in there, we gotta have stuff to melt it off. And when I say semi-heated, it's 50 degrees at best.
Yeah.
Yeah, that place was tough to dry.
So,
Well, with the proposal of the 54,000 square foot, right, is the number. 10 years from now, we find out, oh, it's way too small again.
I won't be here if that's the case.
I won't either, but what I'm getting at is what we leave, always leave something better, right? As my grandpa always said, but anyway, which is what we're trying to do. Maybe then that cold storage option would be an option, as a secondary place to house some equipment that's seasonal, that's currently being handled that way now, and so.
Just that lean-to of 7,000 square feet. That's all.
Yeah, I mean, the lean-to would be intent is to obviously park your like backhoes and stuff like that. It still would sit out in the element, but if you can keep the sun off of it, if you can just keep the elements,
off.
and then you can put outlets to plug the stuff in. I mean, that would be the intent. Obviously, there's just a rendering of what it would look like, and I don't know how many stalls that you see in there. There's
The wash it looks small.
I mean, there's approximately 45 stalls, is what I'm seeing there.
Yeah.
And there is some, obviously, code is that you get over a certain size building, you actually have to put a bathroom in it. So this would require bathroom facilities. Some counties kind of winterize it and don't use them, type of thing. Just to have them there as code, but and obviously in the CIP, just to bring that up too, is if we were looking at adding on to this facility or building an additional space, our current generator would have to be replaced. We have 100 kilowatt generator right now that can basically do what we have here, but it can't obviously take any other additional load. If we had a wash bay, if we had additional lighting, heating system like that, then I can tell you the current generator we have is probably undersized for this building. I don't know if we've ever using the welders and all that stuff on generator all at once. And obviously the current generator is, I don't know if it's original to the building. I have no data on it. But I know it has not been replaced in the last 20 years. But there's also additional $500,000 just to replace the generator system. If we were to look at building on, So I did put a caveat to that, that's if this is obviously built, that it would require that, not asking to replace the generator just because. So
So when will this year come for a vote for the county board?
is it
May.
May?
In May? Okay,
Yeah, after the new county board.
okay.
is-
We would typically bring it to the April meeting of the board, but
Mhm.
It's election year.
not gonna do it this year.
And I mean, it doesn't have to get any further than here if we all say no. So, like I said, if that's something we wanna discuss. I mean, I did present it to Dan, so I'm assuming it's gonna be in the May agenda. We're still not in April yet, but
We're still rolling out a new finance system, so not a lot of emails haven't been read. So the, the intent then around that, I mean, if you do approve this, we have the HVAC project that they're doing the, RFP review at this point, so I would hope in the next, couple of weeks, we'll know what those numbers are. And then I'll have to reach out to our municipal advisor to identify what that borrow looks like. And then I can have whatever you agree to in this, and we can kind of overlay that so that we'll have a pretty good idea of what borrowing for this project looks like. We had done that in the past. We kind of showed that with some of the general numbers. And I mean, it does bring us over that $5.2 million, which is kind of the mark that means we're increasing taxes. So I would expect that it would be true. Whatever it is that we're doing here is not going to be something we're going to be able to fit within our normal borrowing. So it would have tax levy implications. So, but we'll have a better number of what that is, what that looks like on an annual basis. And, you know, what does that look like, you know, per $1,000 of valuation or something like that. So
yeah, and that's why I wanted to kind of present too, like say we just want to build a wash bay. Maybe that fits more into our financial borrowing. Maybe that's an option. Like I said, that you're looking at about 1.8 just to build a wash bay. So,
and that is the thing also, as we talk about May with the brand new board, even with this, we're hitting them with a pretty serious question in their second meeting. You've all been to a second meeting as an elected official it's a lot of information. So, and we will have at least 6 new.
Go ahead.
and to put it in perspective, so our existing building is 40,000 square feet.
Mhm.
So we'd be proposing a building that's larger than what we have here. Obviously, storage capacity, we probably only have 15,000 square feet, if I had to guess, maybe, of actual capacity to store equipment. Of this 40,000.
Are you thinking about moving some of the mechanic stuff to that other site, correct?
I'm not presenting any of that because that's an additional about $5 million, I believe, is what that cost was. So
That would be down.
in a perfect world, yes, but I'm not presenting that.
We can present that next year, just this year.
Well, I guess if there's a smart way to piecemeal it,
I think that it would make sense if you do kind of look at this from a 5-year perspective to maybe throw that in.
On
You would
2030.
have to amend this if you wanted to do it, just throw in that 5 million placeholder and.
Yeah,
I guess what I was looking at is it's meeting our needs. We're living with what we have here. On the mechanic side, it's not ideal. Don't get me wrong, to jockey trucks in and out of here.
Mhm.
But I'm like, I just look at it as, do we want to invest that much money in a 40-year-old building? And to gain maybe some efficiencies, jockeying equipment in and out of here? I don't know. I don't know if it's worth that in the long run. So that's what I looked at.
to me, that's a bigger just my opinion. That's a bigger issue. How this thing is designed, honestly.
Well,
Then-
and I
then
think
it's
if we could get that equipment out of that side, I think obviously we'd have some more room to do things in here. Even if that means docking things in and through the current wash bay, to make things easier, because it's so difficult to jockey stuff in because there's so much equipment sitting back there. Try to turn and, like I said, I'm trying to present this, the lowest cost possible, what I think would be meeting our needs. And I would love to, I'd love to have a conference room. I'd love to have all the bells and whistles, but at the end of the day, it's just, I don't know if it's quite feasible at this time. Obviously, I did have in here, our radiant heat system in the building is original and it is malfunctioning every day. We stick money and money and money into that system just to have heat in this building. So that will have to be replaced, with a new radiant system. We did get costs of about $125,000 just to do that in this building. Right now, we got the radiant heat up and running again, but there was about a month and a half, we didn't have any heat, and the only heat source we had is our backup, used oil furnace. That went out, we'd be using basically one Modine heater to heat this whole building.
Well, I think there is definitely some stuff there that needs to be done, and I would like to see more done to this building. I realize it's an older building, but I think there's some stuff that needs to be done. And myself, I would like a little bit more time to process that and think about it before I made a decision for myself on this. And like Dan was saying, present this to potentially a bunch of new board members a month after they get on here. So, I mean, I don't like to kick stuff cans down the road. And I would actually like to, I don't want to just kind of settle for less. So I would like to see what the numbers are on the HVAC system and stuff like that to make a little bit more informed decision.
You're talking like as a remodel here or the new building?
Well, I feel like something needs to be done here with how our, welding shop is right next to where we store a lot of the flammable stuff, and how tight it is in here. I feel like we're settling if we build this for storage. I mean, not that I want to wait because costs go up, but I would rather settle for a little bit longer with what we have and build what we really need rather than just go kind of settling for this just to get by. I feel like it's kind of just getting us by. And maybe I'm not completely understanding. So, I mean, that's kind of why I want a little bit more time to think about it. And maybe we build that building and then remodel this in 4 or 5 years, but then this building's that much older.
So what I would say, and I mean, the numbers as we have them on here, so you're approving your 5-year capital plan, right, which we do every year.
Right.
And
And it changes every year.
Yeah.
I mean, it
So-
does. It
Yeah,
changes
no,
every year.
it does.
It's a 1-year plan.
Year 29, 30, and 31 are going to change again next year.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's a 1-year plan with some, little bit of, this could potentially happen in the future, right?
Right.
And so that's where I think as you really look at that building is at 28. So I think a lot of what you're looking at right now is that Menominee shop. Now that number that you have there is 5%.
Are you talking for 27?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's in design fees.
It's 5% of the,
No. Yes, 5.5.
Yeah.
pretty close. So.
You did read that. Very good.
I did the math actually, but yeah. So I think that's, to your point, Dustin, I think there's a lot of wiggle that can still happen. It may be that you just need to increase this buffer for your design fees in 27 to allow for what could be a greater size building in the future, but there is still some more time for discussion about that. But I think the question about about speaking with new board members and making that decision is, if we're going to spend $600,000 in 2027, probably want to build the building.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, do you want to do this and remodel this the same year? Is that what you're thinking? Or what I mean, I guess what's the question? Or what are you thinking?
because I think
Because
the
the
plan around that was to have that so that we had a swing space.
The original CIP that I presented last year had it separated years.
Right.
But that isn't to necessarily
Correct.
shift cost. That's so you have a place to put all of the stuff while you're doing the.
You got to get that built before you can remodel this. I mean, we can amend this if you would prefer and have it 2030 or something or whatever to remodel this. I mean, I don't know what you're thinking though. I mean, or you just. Because I agree, this place needs to be updated, but I mean, just.
And I would say, I mean, there's flexibility in, yes, we wanted the capital project stuff to be approved now so that we could start preparing all of the stuff for the May meeting. But if you do want to wait.
But if we don't have
April.
these numbers on the CIP that is approved, you're not gonna show us how these numbers are gonna work either.
I mean,
Or will you?
yeah, I mean, I can get some other numbers. I guess what I'm saying is if you want to sit and think about this until April,
I mean, you could still,
I can make that work.
you could still run numbers though.
Yeah, I can still run numbers. And so that's when I can go talk to our municipal advisor and say,
But if it ain't
I
on
want
this
to do
list,
one
why-
for 8, I want to do one for 15. It's just putting it on a spreadsheet.
I guess I'll put it this way, if everybody else is on board and ready to go, I'm not gonna buck the system, I'm just. And I guess, yeah, I wasn't looking at, there's a little bit more wiggle room and I'm not wanting to necessarily spend more money, but I want to make sure that we're building what we need and not just going, oh, well, we cut 500,000 here, we cut a 500,000 here or million here and at the end of the day, it's like, well, we really should have built this a little bit bigger and I would rather push to do what we need rather than in 10 years, they're spending 16 million to add on something. I would rather, I know we're in kind of a tight spot now, so I was just, as far as timing and what goes out and everything.
Right.
So I'm just,
And I mean, I guess the tight spot as it relates to this is really just based on the guidance that the board has given, right? Our ability to borrow, the state allows us to borrow more money than would ever be a smart thing to do.
yeah,
But it does have impacts to taxes and the taxpayer. The argument around borrowing for these types of projects, similar to what Supervisor Thomas had said, is leaving it better, right? When you borrow for these projects, that bigger project, that future-proof project, the people who actually pay for it are the future taxpayers, right? Because you're borrowing the money and that those payments go off. So it is the people that are, this is a 20-year borrow. The taxpayers in 20 years are the ones that are paying for that building that you built now.
Yes,
So,
but if we build one for 12 million and then 10 years, it's 25 million, well, then the next people pay twice as
Yeah.
much, so.
no, and I agree, and I think that's what, so that, I mean, there is some value in doing that, but understanding that that larger borrow
Correct.
in the short term is going to increase property taxes for the residents of Dunn County.
Correct, and
You
that's,
can make that argument. You're the elected officials that get to deal with that, but I think,
and that's what I mean by being in a tight spot. It's like, I do not want to have to raise taxes. But I also want to do what's best for us rather than going, hey, we got by with this, but we don't actually have what we need. So what is the best, what's the most efficient option? And to me, it was like, well, I gotta figure out, or we have to figure that out right now, but I mean, I guess there is some wiggle room, so. I mean, I'm in favor of doing something. I'm just,
Well, and then taking
We
into
need to do
consideration
something.
too, we have 5 outline shops. So there's gonna be costs associated to maintain and upkeep those as well. I did put obviously replacing garage doors, the common things that are just obviously rusting out and.
Or we need to look at the option of not having them, or one of them, or two of them, or whatever.
But yeah, I mean, obviously the whole Rock Falls thing, that's obviously,
I mean, we have,
If this gets
we have
built-
to look at that.
yes, that's definitely.
That's why I want this big enough in order to, like I say, if we can't maintain the Rock Falls or Boyceville or Colfax, whatever. You know, can they be brought back in here and put into this building? That's what I'm looking at.
so
I'm not saying we're closing them. I'm just saying I want that potential available. If you tell me I need to spend $1 million in Colfax for a new shop, I want to be able to close it and bring it here. Is what I'm trying to get to. I know we just spent money up there, just
an example, I give.
you know. And is this big enough to do that? That's what I guess is gonna be my question next. Potentially.
I mean, I know when this was put together, that was not considered, is if we would shut down 5 outline shops and
Yeah.
bring all the equipment here. No.
I don't think that would work.
It was, I think the intent was obviously to bring the 2 trucks out of Rock Falls.
Yep.
From day one.
Mhm.
Cause that's the only equipment that's down there, is those 2 plow trucks. We're still gonna have to have a loader down there
Yep.
with the salt shed.
Which is a separate place anyways.
Yes, which is a whole separate building.
So I guess in hearing that and hearing all of this, I would say, I mean, I don't have to vote on this if you want to bring it back to your April meeting. We can continue to kind of go through some of the different options. And I can
We could have-
fairly
we could
certain I
have that
can get you
information.
some financial information in April to kind of look at what some of those impacts would be. And then give you a little time to think through what that is, or go talk to some people about what that is. Cause I think what you're wrestling with is it is you ran for. It's that difficult decision of what do you believe is best, and what does that impact to the taxpayer, and then that becomes, how do we help inform and help all of the taxpayers understand the reasoning behind the decision.
Right.
I mean, what do you guys think? I'm not trying to be the.
No, I share a lot of your same concerns or thoughts, I'm not gonna call them concerns, caution. But yet,
I know your thoughts are shared by other members outside of this committee as well.
yeah,
Yeah, I'm not against it. Just, I mean,
no,
the record, I'm not against. I want to make sure we make the right decision, but. I mean, in a way, I'm for moving forward with something. I'm just not 100% sure on this, and it'd just be nice to have a little time to think, but it's not like I'm trying to kick the can down the road for 6 months or something. I mean, I think we need to do something. And I think it's way past due. And I know we've discussed it before. I hate to just jump into something.
I agree. I think it's always nice to have an extra month to think about things before we make a major decision. That's what I will always tell you. I mean, just to let you think about it. But I'm just,
Well, and
that's what I think.
And I think having those financial numbers could really help.
Big
Right.
time.
That's what I said, man.
How is this gonna
When
impact?
you talk about financial numbers, I think, just making sure I have it straight in my head. And we have an idea of what the levy change would be per $1,000 or whatever, right?
That's the kind of number that I would like to get you. And
Yes.
yeah, to be able to understand what it looks like to do this borrow for the
Right.
HVAC project.
Right,
The $3 million that was approved in 2026,
right,
projecting a $3 million borrow in 2027.
right.
Which is for highway.
Which would be for highway, projecting then a 3 million borrow plus the
Mhm.
highway shop
Right.
in 2028.
Right,
And so then what does that look like? And then if we do need to throw in a remodel of this one in the future, what does that look like?
right,
So as we had run some of those numbers before, I know we have some room within our debt service in 2027, as we have one of those larger borrows coming off the books in
Yep.
27. And so then we want to, well, I don't know if we want to, if you guys want to, but the debt service, say we try to stay at that $5.2 million of debt service, which is our annual debt payment.
right.
And so we can look at what that looks like. But when we run the numbers before, and this was based off the highest level of that HVAC project, that's kind of that thing, is we were going to go over 5.2 million.
Right.
Does that get us to 6, right? If that gets us to a $6 million debt service payment over the next 10 years, then you're talking about $800,000 of increased levy.
Mhm.
So what does that look like to the taxpayers, right?
Yeah,
Our total equalized value in the county is what, 5 billion,
5.2.
5.2 billion. So you can
You're right.
do some math in order to figure out what that looks like. And that's how we would do the math in order to figure out, this is going to be, if I were to do that, so right now we have a $25 million levy, and our number is about $4. It's like 4.1 or something like that is our it's not coming up with the number, right? So if you were to take that down, drop a decimal to 2 million and drop another decimal, you're talking 50-60 cents per $1,000 of valuation of your
I thought taxes when I
going
figured
down,
it before.
right?
Yeah.
Right? So that's what, that's what it looks like for the taxpayer.
Right.
Now, it seems like a small number until
But
tax bills show up.
Well, that's
So-
per thousand looks really cheap, but we
Yeah.
have 2 per 300,000, which is the average
Yeah,
house.
exactly.
That makes
Yeah.
that 50 cents actually,
Yeah.
15.
Whatever doing head math.
Yeah, I know, I hate
It's
doing
a
that.
smart idea, but
Yes, I would definitely like to see those numbers if everybody's not opposed to that. I would like to see some numbers and
I'm not opposed. I'm kind of with that. That's a good deal.
and I would tell you, and this is why I'm saying that I think it is a good idea to wait, because I've heard from 2 or 3 other board members. They know these things are happening, say I'd rather build something more future proof than cut corners. So that is out there, and that is something that they have brought to me as that's coming forward. So What we also don't want to do is get this all the way to the May meeting to have that question brought up in order to bring it back, and then we're not getting that done until.
Yeah.
Well, and I agree with that too. That's why I don't want to be the holdup. I don't want to be the holdup, but I'm reluctant.
You're not the hold up, I think.
I mean, going back to the CIP, going to county board, if it's, let's say, county board doesn't want to act on it in May, and delays it to June, is that allowed?
Yeah, so the capital improvement project planning process is really to help inform department heads as it relates to building your budget.
Yep.
Right? So, if Dustin knows that this thing is going to get built in 2028 and that this then building is going to be replaced or remodeled in 2030, right? That changes his decisions about how we would manage this failing HVAC system within this building, right? And that's the intent of the capital improvement, is to help inform that budgeting process moving forward. So it can be delayed.
Yep.
Quite frankly, everything that is approved in the capital planning could get thrown out the window in the budget. It is truly a planning process to help inform that. So it really just kind of helps us as we move forward to be ready. These particular decisions, though, some of those things, like I brought up that HVAC thing, help inform Dustin about, that building. But for the most part, this particular question isn't going to have too many 2027 budget. It's not going to impact your budget all that much in 2027. It may be in other departments that it does have great. This decision wouldn't, but some of their capital improvements would. So we could even have it where the board is approving the capital improvement plan, with the exception of this area to be revisited later. We've done amendments to the capital improvement plan. We did that last year or 2 years ago with the camera project. So, yep. So, yeah.
So we more thinking about the size of this building, style of this building, or does that really? Both. Okay. Just so we on the same page. That's all I want to be here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, just so I have some more guidance.
I know. I was gonna say, we need some guidance for this. That's why I was trying to.
What I can present back to you in April. So we'd be looking at the addition, we would keep this as status quo. What I have presented here, and then add a remodel number into it as well.
I definitely think we need a remodel. I'm just leaning towards reverting back to some of the other stuff that we were talking about before.
Going with a larger building and precast.
We can just.
And I mean, just so you're aware that is probably gonna go, you're gonna see a pretty good significant cost increase.
Versus the steel.
Yes. And I could see that building alone being about 13 million. If you went to a 72,000 square foot.
Plus the 5 for the remodel.
Plus the 5 on top of that.
Yep.
So you'd be looking at about 18 million when it's all said and done, if in today's world numbers. So we don't know what 3 years is gonna be.
No problem with bigger building. Like I say,
I mean, we can go with a 72,000 square foot facility steel, just like you see here, but just bigger. I mean, if we want to explore that.
You're thinking bigger, right? So I would say both. I mean, steel, and if you want precast, I think you should have both of those numbers.
Well, part of it is, I really want to know how it affects the other stuff that we have to pay for, and how it's gonna affect.
And you don't have other department CIP requests. I mean, is there any other big, large numbers from other requests?
not.
I mean, it's just common
Nothing that
trucks and
hits these kinds of
vehicles and-
numbers, yeah. Yeah, it's your 300,000 for IT for whatever, some of the things for facilities, some equipment for facilities are really the main things. If that smaller building is done, the sheriff will have a request for additional storage themselves, right? So that's a component of how do you look at that, right? So that's why we had kind of looked at combining some of those efforts.
Mhm.
Yeah, those are.
I would agree.
We're not seeing too many of those things out moving forward. A lot of, thankfully, a lot of our buildings have been recently redone. Obviously, we have the HVAC and judicial, but most of the rest of that envelope of that building has been recently redone. The neighbors will be coming up on, I think 15 to 20 years. So they're going to be starting to get into a maintenance period, but they're self-funded. So they're increasing their revenues and building up some of that too.
So if we did a bigger building, 72, what?
72,000 square feet was the
72,000
original
Yep.
from last year.
And that part of that was the White House that you referred to going to the sheriff's department then. Which,
Yeah, and I know that building is much larger than what they need. I know when,
Yeah, but
when the
it goes back to
consultant
the
did
same thing.
an evaluation,
But you could put a wall in the middle of it.
you could.
I mean, which would be totally, I suppose it has to be proof, whatever. I don't know what the sheriff needs.
Well, they'll grow into it too, though.
That's right.
I mean,
Yeah, they're gonna grow into it.
They're gonna have a lot of stolen bikes in there.
You can swing a deal where maybe, a couple pieces of equipment gets stored in there in the back corner or
I
something
still
like
think they're
that.
still looking for a place to store their command center too, thing that they're renting out with from the city of Mount, right? I mean, that has to be in a heated building.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I said. I'm not against putting bigger buildings because we could store some of this stuff in-house.
Well, I'm not necessarily set on the precast. The bigger building is more what I'm concerned about. I mean, I like the precast, yes, but I just feel like, honestly, dealing with something similar myself, and it's like I need to, I don't know, I feel like just biting a bullet and if we can, but that's why I'm curious how it all looks and how it's gonna affect the residents as well.
Yeah.
How it's gonna affect them now, and like he says, in 10 years, it's like, well, I think we're gonna be thankful because then the sheriff's gonna be coming to us in 5-10 years going, well, we need some more room.
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, so do we just cut costs with not doing the precast, but building the bigger building that will still last, it'll still last this?
Yeah.
So can I ask probably a dumb question, but who came up with the square foot numbers?
So the consultant basically put in based on our equipment numbers.
Gotcha.
So they were looking at is just to house our equipment now would be that, I believe it was 40,000. It was a smaller size than the 54,000. The 54,000 had room to grow.
Right.
There was an additional space that we could utilize. And then the 72,000 was if we would eliminate the whole cold storage, our White House, that we would have capacity to grow with our equipment as well as house the cold storage materials that are in that building now.
Right.
Because that
So
alone
what-
is what, 20,000 square feet?
This is a dumb question, but with 66,000 square feet, dude.
I have no idea.
That's what I was getting at.
Be filled in 10 years.
What's that?
It'll be filled in 10 years.
Yeah.
But so it's 72.
So what we're looking at is that I believe that current White House is either 20 or 25,000. I think it's 20,000 square feet. So that's what they're looking at is
Took that 40,000.
grow with the 54,000 and adding 20,000 onto it, right? For that space.
Well, we all know that when this was built, you know, it's been talked about numerous times, so I won't belabor it, but equipment wasn't as big. You know, the plow trucks are almost twice the size of some of the stuff.
All you gotta do is look up at some of those pictures there.
Yeah.
You know, look how much, like, things have changed just that amount of time,
You know,
you know?
so the consensus is maybe trying to price out 72,000 steel and precast.
That's my thought.
I'd
That
be
was-
with
I'm
that.
with it.
I'm with
I'm with
that.
that.
I mean, that's what you want to do.
Yeah, and I can put options on here for like
Yeah.
a 27 request for a steel. This would be what it would be for the engineering. This would be if it was precast. And then same for 28, we can do a
If you can,
steel option, and then you guys pick from there which one.
I think we need those two options.
And then remodel, or are we still looking at that? Like adding that into like maybe a year later, like maybe looking at design in 28
and
with a remodel in 29 or 30? Or do you want to put a little bit more separation in there?
I would say design in 29 and 30 and then
That's for my mind.
just as, but
But I think you guys would give some flexibility there, because I think that's one of those things when those things start. Based on when some of our debt falls off,
right.
is there's opportunities to be able to do that. So I just want to say, like, I'm hearing flexibility within this 5-year window
Right.
for that. Okay. Because I can ask our municipal advisor, tell us what year you think we should do this.
Yeah.
And they'll say this is when,
Yeah.
but you can also do those things early
Interest only,
and then it's interest only,
Mhm.
which,
which our interest rate is still fairly reasonable. So I mean,
Right.
that's not, it still costs more to wait than it is to pay the interest. I'll be totally honest with you. When I do the math, it's a no brainer. The interest is cheaper than
Yeah.
waiting.
And the rates are coming down.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Every time I've done the math, it's interest is cheaper than waiting.
Yeah.
Not that I like taxes.
The bread and butter.
Phone calls. Here we go.
Like I said, I'm not gonna buck the system.
No, I think-
Whatever you guys think, but that's just my 2 cents.
I think it's good information. I think it's good. Good to relook at it.
Well, if it's not in the request, obviously it can't get approved.
Right.
So it's like, it can always be deleted.
Yeah. Right.
It's hard to add.
Hard to add once you, yeah. So let's circle back and hopefully July, not July, April, we can have that
I don't know if
figured
it's
out.
quite that far.
You can have that kind of put together. I know you're not,
I can do the.
This is
easy
your
part.
slow season,
Dan's
so-
got the hardest part,
this year's slow season.
financials. Well,
I just send it off, but
I know, but
I.
He just got people. He's just got people.
Delegator.
They contact me every week, say, what do you need?
So,
So I'm gonna go with obviously revising this.
Yep.
Bring it back to April.
Yep.
2027, we'd be looking at the design of the 72,000 square foot, both options, steel, concrete. And then
What's the
2028 build, construct.
Yeah.
With those two options. And then in 2029, we'd be looking at the remodel design, and then 2030 for construction,
for this building,
for the remodel of this building.
which is very flexible at that time.
Would that
I think
74,000 square feet, would that include the wash bay then too then?
No, the additional,
That would be additional.
That'd be additional.
Yeah.
just like it is now.
Yeah, the 72,000 would just be the equipment storage, and then there would be a 30 by 96 square, whatever that comes out square foot wise. Would be the wash bay.
Like I said, that's,
I have it all included in one lump cost.
and that is eliminating some of our storages in different little places, so, which is
Speaking of that, wash bay thing. Is that something we wanna look at now or wait a month? And I'm trying to figure that out in my head.
Are you talking like a type of wash bay, like going manual
No,
or
just-
just automatic?
Just
or-
get moving that forward.
We can all wait till
Yeah, I don't
next
know.
month. I don't think we have to
Okay.
do one now.
All right, yeah. I don't know what
I think-
I was really trying to say, if we should act.
I think it's gotta all get built at the same time. So I mean,
What you're saying is that's pretty important, and I
Yeah,
would
I
agree with you that wash bay is, but I think
Well, and
the
that-
month we wait.
And I know there's talk of it being attached to the building, not attached, so if it's if the consensus was, let's make it unattached. Then let's go ahead and get that rolling or look at getting that rolling, I should say. Yeah, go ahead and get it.
It is, if this
All right,
comes to
that's
the full board, CIP comes to the full board
Yeah.
in May and they say, no, we're not spending that much money. We can clean, you can come back and say, well, we want to spend $1.5 million
Gotcha,
on a
yeah.
wash bay,
Yeah.
no matter what, and we amend the CIP and go forward.
Gotcha.
we would
Perfect.
argue for that.
Cause I think, yeah, I absolutely think that needs to, no matter if we do anything else, I think that needs to happen. You know, wash bay,
No
I mean,
doubt.
if we had to do it separate.
I mean, do I present that in a CIP like that or no?
No, I think you present what this committee believes is
Yeah.
that is the
This is the
best
best
path
option.
forward. And if
Yes.
the board
Yeah.
disagrees,
Let's
then
go
they
with
send
that.
it back and you go try again.
Yeah,
So.
agree.
Yep.
Good advice, Bob.
Assuming somebody's gonna have to make a motion.
No,
To postpone it?
you never put it on, you never made a motion, so you don't have to postpone it.
No, we didn't.
But you only have 3 minutes. Just teasing. I'm just kidding.
I'm getting judged by the people doing
I got-
ERP training right now.
I got nothing,
Yeah, I can't believe you're still here.
nothing I have to.
Okay, so we'll get some updated numbers in the April meeting and we'll open that. Okay, so on to C, crack sealant materials. Dan has to get going here. We have to hurry up.
What'd you say, Seth?
Like I said, you had 3
All
minutes.
Dan's fault.
So we requested quotes from 3 vendors for the crack seal materials. As you can see in your bid packet there was the low bid was for Mid States for the Maxwell Elastoflex 61 materials at 60 cents a pound. That's what I'm looking at, unit pricing, not the total cost. If you look at that, there's different weights
Yeah,
that they haul.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, if they give us 45,000 pounds or 42,000 pounds, still at that same unit pricing. So don't look at the end number because they both had different weights they were gonna supply us with.
Who have you used?
We've used every one of these materials.
Okay, you've been happy with all 3?
We used this Maxwell product last summer and we've been pleased with it.
Oh, from Mid States?
Need a motion.
I'll make a motion to go with Mid States as our 2026 crack sealant provider.
Second it.
Motion's been made and seconded to go with Max with Mid States for the seal coat. Any discussion? Any other questions? If not, all in favor?
All right.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Land survey GPS unit purchase.
So we have a GPS unit here. Obviously, we go out and survey with it. We do a lot of stuff with it. Stopped working last year. We ended up utilizing land conservation GPS unit quite often. It became kind of a scheduling nightmare at times because they needed it, we needed it, and it was all, I'm not gonna lie, we do stuff spur of the moment here, as well as they do. I don't know what model it is. It's a 2010 Carlson unit is what we currently have. Like I said, it stopped working. I had IT guys look at it. I had Tom, our county surveyor and his staff look at it to see if they could fix it, figure out what's going on. We contacted Carlson directly. They basically kind of said, that model doesn't exist and we have no idea how to fix it. It's a 2010 is my understanding when we bought in 2015. So like I said, going back to it, this technology gets outdated very, very quickly.
Mhm.
We buy it today, next year it's outdated.
No.
Maybe not to that extent, but a few years, give it at least a few years, and there's better technology that comes forward.
Right.
So we reached out to 3 vendors, in 3 brands that we know. Obviously, Leica, the county surveyor, he uses Leica equipment. We have a Carlson unit. Land Conservation has a Carlson unit. And then we've threw Trimble in there. Obviously, Trimble is a very well-known GPS provider. As you can see, different costs. My preferred option would obviously be a Carlson unit, due to cost. We've had really, really good luck with, our machine up until it stopped literally connecting to satellites. We have no idea why. Out of the blue. Land Conservation's unit is a BRX7, as you can see, for that 19.8. That's what Land Conservation has there. That would be the exact same unit. The Viking system is the newest, latest, and greatest model that has already higher tolerances than the BRX7 model.
How
The one-
important is that for you?
We're not designing Swiss watches, but
Right.
I mean, I look at it as if you're gonna buy a unit, you might as well, in my opinion, buy the best unit you can get.
Right.
It's kind of
For
like buying a
accuracy.
laptop and
Yes.
buying the worst one and then.
Yeah, no, I
it's-
get, yeah.
Yeah,
Doesn't last as long.
yeah,
Correct.
right.
The one thing is, I will mention, is obviously this was not in my plan to purchase this year. I was looking at obviously jockeying some stuff around with our equipment purchases. And as you can see, that's on the next page, what I had on there. What we would be looking at trying to do is remove a truck. We had in there planned to have a 1-ton truck. So as you can see in the equipment plan that you guys approved, there is some adjusted numbers that would have to be revised, obviously, to purchase this piece of equipment. We are also looking at these paving rollers being more than what we had allocated. As you can see, we had allocated 160, and we're looking at
185.
from the numbers, preliminary stuff that we've been kind of trying to get some type of numbers on, or it seems like it's going to be more. So as you can see, it's doable to add this into it in our equipment plan. It would have to be obviously revised. The dollar amount would not be going more. It actually shows it being reduced. Those 3 plow trucks and equipment, I can tell you right now, we will see the chassis this year. We will not see fabrication until next year. So that $1.1 million we have penciled in, that includes fabrication. We might get 1 truck, is what we're hearing, might be fabricated maybe in October, November. Is what we're looking at, but otherwise it's a year out is what they're telling us when the chassis hit the ground.
Yeah.
Still, we have 1 chassis that has hit the ground already, but we still have 2 that are coming
Almost
in
like-
April.
Almost like you gotta hire a separate mechanic that just keeps putting new trucks together every year. It's their job, you know?
We'd have to remodel our place to do that.
Or 1 shared between 3 counties to do it.
Yes,
That idea too.
Thanks for.
that's a whole nother discussion.
Yeah.
So,
Getting into the weeds here. Let's go. Concentrate. Let's stay in the lane.
So going back to that GPS unit, like I said, it's our staff rely on it. Brittany and Dylan, what we're trying to do is obviously we're trying to survey a lot of these projects in our 5-year plan to get ahead of the ball game.
Yeah.
We can't do it without a unit. I mean, can we get Tom to do it? He doesn't have the time. I've asked him.
I'll make a motion that we go with Petrova Solutions Carlson Viking RT4 Plus GPS unit purchase.
I'll second it.
You said the Viking, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Motion's been made and second that we go with the Viking RT4 serving GPS unit. Any discussion, any more discussion, any other questions? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Okay, do we have to revise this equipment plan now? Or no? It's not on. Perfect, got it, done. So that's it. Eight, okay. Anything else before we adjourn? Any other questions? If not, next meeting will be April 8th. That is the day after the election. We will all be still on the board. So see you then. Otherwise, we're adjourned.